Bills pile up, dreams slip away, and freedom feels like a fairy tale you were told as a kid. You tell yourself you're doing everything right, following the rules, climbing the ladder, playing the game, but deep down, you know the truth. You're not winning. You're not free. You're a rat in a maze, trained to obey, programmed to stay poor. Why does it hurt so much? Why does every paycheck feel like a leash, every promotion a heavier chain? You were told school was the answer. Study hard, get good grades, land a secure job, and you'll be set. But you're not set, are you? You're trapped, drowning in debt, working for someone else's dream, living a life that feels like a lie. Robert Kiyosaki, that brash financial rebel from the pages of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, saw through this scam decades ago. From his Hawaiian roots, armed with two dads, one poor, one rich, he exposed the system's greatest con. Schools aren't built to make you rich, they're built to make you obedient, to program 95% of you to stay poor, to turn you into a rat running a race you can't win. This isn't education, it's indoctrination, and it's stealing your freedom, your wealth, your soul. You don't want to hear this. You want to believe school was your ticket, that your degree, your hard work, your loyalty to the system will pay off. You want to trust the narrative, teachers, parents, society, when they tell you to follow the path, to stay in line, to keep running. But your life screams otherwise. You're stuck, aren't you? In a job you hate, a budget you can't escape, a life that feels like a treadmill set to someone else's speed. Your stress, your debt, your exhaustion, they're not accidents. They're the system's design. Proof you've been programmed to serve, not to thrive. Kiyosaki's truth is brutal. Schools train obedient rats, and 95% of you are running their maze, programmed poor by a system that profits from your compliance. This is your wake-up call. Here's the brutal truth. The education system didn't teach you to win. It taught you to lose. It didn't teach you money. It taught you obedience. It didn't teach you freedom. It taught you to beg for a paycheck, to trade your life for a cubicle, to sacrifice your soul for a system that keeps you poor. Kiyosaki's rebellion is a call to arms. Break the programming, reject the maze, reclaim your wealth. Use the dark conversational hack, 2 questions, 1 validation, to expose the system's lies, to awaken others, to build the alliances you need to escape. Only then can you stop being a rat and start being a rebel, living rich not just in money, but in freedom, truth, and power. Kiyosaki doesn't mince words. The education system is a machine, and you're its product. From the moment you stepped into a classroom, you were molded, not to think, not to create, not to win, but to obey. You learned to sit still, raise your hand, memorize answers, and follow rules. You were graded on compliance, rewarded for conformity, punished for questioning. But what did school teach you about money? Nothing. What did it teach you about wealth? Nothing. What did it teach you about freedom? Nothing but a lie. That a degree equals success, that a job equals security, that obedience equals a good life. And now, look at you, drowning in student loans, chained to a desk, running a race where the prize is just more running. Think about it. Why did school spend years drilling algebra into your head, but never taught you how to budget? Why did it make you read classics, but never showed you how to invest? Why did it train you to answer questions, but never to question the system itself? Kiyosaki, with his rich dad's wisdom, saw the truth. Schools are factories, churning out obedient rats for the corporate maze. The system doesn't want you rich. It wants you working, consuming, borrowing, staying just poor enough to keep running, just obedient enough to never revolt. It's an obscene design, a conspiracy to program 95% of you to stay poor, to serve the 5% who know the game and play it to win. The system's lie is everywhere. In the diplomas you chased, the jobs you compete for, the debt you're told is normal. It's in the voice of your teachers, your parents, your bosses, echoing the same script. Work hard, stay in line, and you'll make it. But you're not making it, are you? You're surviving, scraping by, one paycheck away from collapse. Kiyosaki's rebellion is fierce. The system stole your wealth, not by accident, but by design. It programmed you to be a rat, not a rebel. Your poverty isn't your fault. It's the system's plan. Revolt against this obscenity, or you'll run its maze forever. Look at your life. Really look at it. You're caught in a cycle, aren't you? You work, you earn, you spend, you borrow, you stress, and you start again. You chase promotions, but they come with more hours. You save pennies, but the bills eat them up. You dream of freedom, but the system pulls you back. Debt, taxes, obligations, all tightening the noose. You're not living, you're running, a rat in a maze designed to keep you poor, obedient, trapped. Every paycheck, every overtime shift, every good job from your boss is a carrot dangled to keep you moving, never questioning, never winning. Kiyosaki calls this the rat race, a trap set by the system to keep you programmed poor. Schools didn't teach you financial literacy, they taught you financial servitude. You learned to trade time for money, to value a steady job over risky investments, to fear failure more than mediocrity. Your education wasn't about wealth, it was about compliance, preparing you to be a cog in a machine that profits from your labor, your debt, your life. The system loves this cycle because a rat in the maze doesn't ask why the walls. Have you ever stopped to ask why you're so tired? Why your money disappears faster than you earn it? Why freedom feels like a fantasy you can't afford? It's not just bad luck, it's programming. The system, through schools, parents, society, embedded a script in your mind. Work hard, stay safe, obey. But Kiyosaki's revolt is a different script. Question everything. Learn money. Break the cycle. Your poverty is the system's victory, but your rebellion is your power. Your exhaustion is its chain, but your awakening is your freedom. Society sells you a lie. Education is your ticket to freedom. Go to school, they say. Get a degree. Secure your future. But what did school really give you? A piece of paper, a mountain of debt, and a job that barely pays the bills. You were told education would set you free, but it enslaved you to loans, to bosses, to a system that profits from your obedience. The myth of education as freedom is a trap, a way to keep you running, to stop you from seeing the truth. Schools don't teach you to win, they teach you to serve. Kiyosaki saw through this myth. His poor dad, a teacher, believed in the system. Work hard, get educated, climb the ladder. His rich dad, a businessman, rejected it. Learn money, take risks, build wealth. The poor dad stayed poor, trapped by the system's lies. The rich dad got rich because he saw education for what it is, a tool of control, not liberation. Schools teach you to be an employee, not an entrepreneur. A consumer, not an investor. A rat, not a rebel. The system loves this myth because an educated rat keeps running, keeps borrowing, keeps obeying. Think about the promises you believed. You studied hard, didn't you? You got the grades, the degree, the good job. But where's the freedom? Where's the wealth? Where's the life you were promised? Kiyosaki would ask, why do you trust a system that profits from your poverty? Why do you cling to a myth that chains you? The myth of education is freedom keeps you blind, but Kiyosaki's revolt opens your eyes. Education isn't freedom, it's programming. Freedom comes from unlearning the system's lies, from learning money, from rebelling against the maze. Here's where Kiyosaki's philosophy gets dangerous, where the revolt begins. In Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he doesn't just critique the system, he gives you a way out. The system programmed you to be poor, but you can reprogram yourself to be rich. Not just in money, but in freedom, power, truth. The key? Financial education, risk-taking, and a rebellious mindset that rejects obedience for autonomy. And there's a tool, a dark conversational hack, 2 questions, 1 validation, that can help you expose the system's lies, awaken others, and build the alliances you need to escape the maze. The dark conversational hack is this. Ask 2 questions to uncover someone's programming, validate their response to build rapport, then repeat. What did school teach you about money? They might say, work hard, get a job. How's that working out for you? They reveal their struggles, debt, stress, no savings. You validate. That's real. It's like the system sets us up to run in circles. You're not just talking, you're exposing their programming, showing them the maze, planting the seed of revolt. This cycle, used with subversive intent, gives you informational superiority. You learn their beliefs without revealing your own. You see their chains, their fears, their obedience, and you start to break free, not by preaching, but by connecting. Kiyosaki would call this financial rebellion. By asking questions, you reveal the system's obscenity, how it programs people to stay poor, to value jobs over assets, security over freedom. You ask, what's your biggest financial worry? They share their fears, bills, retirement, debt. What would it mean to be free of that? They expose their dreams, their trapped desires. You validate. That's powerful. It's like we're all chasing something the system doesn't want us to have. You're not convincing, you're awakening, using their words to show them the maze, to spark their revolt, to build a network of rebels. The system doesn't want you to revolt. It wants you compliant, obedient, running the maze. Schools, jobs, banks, they're all part of a conspiracy to keep you programmed poor. They profit from your debt, your labor, your fear of stepping out of line. Get a good job, they say. Pay your loans, save for retirement. But these are chains designed to keep you working, consuming, obeying, never questioning the system that keeps you poor. The system loves this conspiracy because a compliant rat doesn't revolt. They don't learn money. They don't break free. Kiyosaki sees this conspiracy in the way schools avoid financial education, in the way banks push loans, in the way society glorifies the secure job. He writes in Rich Dad, Poor Dad that the system is rigged to keep 95% of people poor, serving the 5% who understand assets, leverage, and risk. Today's culture amplifies this, shaming entrepreneurship as risky, debt as normal, rebellion as reckless. The system needs you compliant, because a compliant person keeps the economy running, the banks profiting, the maze intact. But Kiyosaki's revolt is a rebellion. Stop complying, start learning. Stop running, start rebelling. Think about the pressure you feel. You're told to stay in your lane, to pay your bills, to be grateful for your job. You're told dreaming big is foolish, investing is dangerous, breaking free is impossible. But Kiyosaki would ask, why do you trust a system that profits from your poverty? Why do you let it define your worth? The conspiracy of compliance keeps you weak because a compliant person doesn't question. They don't learn money. They don't revolt. But you're called to something greater, to break the programming, to learn the game, to live as a rebel, not a rat. Let's go deeper, because there's a trap in every step toward freedom. The illusion of security. The system sells you a lie. A steady job, a 401k, a mortgage, that's safety. But it's a trap, a way to keep you running, to stop you from questioning the maze. Every paycheck you chase, every loan you take, every secure choice you make tightens the noose, keeping you poor, obedient, trapped. Security isn't freedom. It's slavery, a promise that you'll be okay as long as you stay in line. Kiyosaki calls this the poor dad mindset. His poor dad chased security, a stable job, a pension, a life of obedience, and ended up poor, stressed, trapped. His rich dad chased freedom, assets, risks, financial education, and ended up rich, not just in money, but in life. The system feeds this trap, telling you security is success, that risk is failure, that obedience is safe. But Kiyosaki's revolt is clear. Security is a lie. Freedom comes from learning money, taking risks, breaking the programming. Use the dark conversational hack. What does financial security mean to you? They reveal their fears, losing their job, not retiring. How does it feel to chase that? They expose their exhaustion, their trapped dreams. You validate. That's heavy. It's like we're all running for something that doesn't exist. You're not convincing, you're awakening, showing them the trap, sparking their revolt. Have you ever noticed how security feels like a cage? How it makes you cling to a job you hate, a life you don't want? The system loves this trap because a secure person doesn't question. They don't risk. They don't revolt. But Kiyosaki's truth is a liberation. Reject security. Embrace risk. Learn money. The trap of security keeps you chained. Here's where Kiyosaki's philosophy gets transformative. Your wealth isn't gone, it's waiting for you to reclaim it. The system programmed you to be poor, but you can reprogram yourself to be rich. The key isn't a better job, it's financial education, learning how money works, building assets, not liabilities. The dark conversational hack, 2 questions, 1 validation, is your weapon to spread this rebellion, to awaken others, to build a network of rebels who see the truth. The hack is rebellious power. You ask, what's your biggest financial goal? They share their dreams, a house, a business, freedom. What's stopping you from getting there? They reveal their programming, fear, debt, the system's lies. You validate. That's real. It's like the system makes it harder than it should be. You're not just talking. You're exposing the maze, showing them their chains, planting the seed of revolt. This cycle builds rapport, gives you informational superiority, lets you see their programming without revealing your own. They feel understood, but you're free, using their words to map the system's lies, to spark their awakening, to build your escape. The system doesn't want you to rebel. It wants you running, working, borrowing. It tells you wealth is for the lucky, the elite, not you. But Kiyosaki's truth is fierce. Wealth is your right. Freedom is your power. Rebellion is your path. To reclaim it, you must learn money, take risks, defy the system. You must push through the fear, the doubt, the programming, and choose yourself. Not because you're greedy, but because you're alive. Another layer, more insidious, the illusion of hard work. The system tells you hard work is the key. Grind, hustle, put in the hours, and you'll succeed. But hard work for who? For your boss, your bank, your landlord? Not you. You're working harder than ever, but you're not richer, not freer, not closer to your dreams. The illusion of hard work keeps you running, because a rat who believes in the grind doesn't question the maze. Kiyosaki saw through this illusion. His rich dad taught him, work smart, not hard. Build assets, not paychecks. Invest in yourself, not the system. The system loves this illusion because a hard-working rat keeps the machine running, keeps the profits flowing, keeps the maze intact. But Kiyosaki's revolt is clear. Stop working for them. Start working for you. Learn money, build wealth, break free. Use the hack. What's the hardest thing about your job? How does it feel to keep doing it? That's intense. It's like we're all working for someone else's dream. You're not preaching, you're awakening, showing them the illusion, sparking their revolt. Have you ever felt the exhaustion of hard work? The sense that you're giving everything but getting nothing? The system loves this illusion because a hardworking person doesn't question, they don't learn, they don't revolt. But Kiyosaki's truth is a wake-up call. Stop grinding for the system. Start building for yourself. Stop running the maze. Start breaking it. The illusion of hard work keeps you poor, but the reality of rebellion makes you rich. Let's dig deeper, because there's a cost to obeying the system, to staying in the maze, to letting it keep you poor. It's the cost to your soul. Every time you follow the rules, chase security, work for someone else's dream, you lose a piece of yourself. You become a rat, a cog, a ghost of the person you could be. Your relationships suffer, trapped in the same cycle of stress and scarcity. Your dreams fade, buried under bills and obligations. Your soul dims, starved of the freedom it craves. Kiyosaki sees obedience as a death of the spirit. When you don't question the system, you don't just lose your wealth, you lose your life. You become a servant, a prisoner of the maze. But the revolt is different. It's a fight for life, for freedom, for truth. It's about learning money, taking risks, living your dreams, even when it scares you. It's about using the dark conversational hack to awaken others, to build a rebellion, to reclaim your power. It's about facing the fear, the doubt, the programming, and refusing to obey anymore. Have you ever felt that hollowness of obedience? That sense that you're not living but surviving? Kiyosaki would say that's the moment to revolt, to confront the system's lies, to demand your freedom back. Your obedience is the system's victory, but your rebellion is your power. Your fear is its chain, but your truth is your freedom. The cost of obedience is your soul, and no system is worth that price. Here's the deepest truth, the one that cuts to the bone. Schools trained you to be an obedient rat, but you can break the programming. Every fear you face, every lie you expose, every risk you take is a battle in the revolt, a step toward wealth, a rebellion against the system that keeps you poor. You're not here to run the maze. You're here to destroy it, to learn money, to live free. Kiyosaki's voice roars across the decades, fierce and unyielding. Revolt. The poverty you feel isn't your fault. It's the system's design. The education myth, the security trap, the hard work lie, they're all chains to keep you running, to keep you weak, to keep you from your power. But you were born for more. You were born to learn money, to take risks, to live with freedom in defiance of the maze. The revolt you need isn't against the system, it's within you. It's the moment you stop running for them and start building for you. Stop fearing failure and start embracing risk. Stop losing and start claiming your wealth. Use the dark conversational hack. 2 questions, 1 validation, to awaken others, to build your rebellion, to set yourself free. So let me ask you, how much longer will you run the maze? How much longer will you trade your soul for the system's lies? You're not a rat, not a cog, not a slave. You're a soul, a spark, a force on the edge of revolt. But you have to choose it. You have to choose to face the system, to reject its programming, to fight for your wealth no matter the cost. Write it down in the comments. I am the revolt. Because if you've made it this far, you're not the same. You've seen what others refuse to see. You've felt what others fear to feel. Subscribe, not for me, but for you, because this isn't about entertainment. It's about awakening. Turn on that bell, because what's coming will hurt, but it will free you. Do something that scares you today. Use the hack with someone. 2 questions, 1 validation. Start an investment. Question your job. Look at yourself without the system's lens for 10 seconds. 10. That's enough to start. Because when you change how you face the maze, the world changes how it responds to you. And that, my friend, is the truth Kiyosaki risked everything for. Until next time, go revolt. The system is waiting, but so is your soul.